Hi there, it's John Williams here, and I am with Helen Sanders of Your People Partners. Hello, Helen.
Hi, John.
And I wanted to talk to you today and talk because you've helped me hire somebody before. Your job is hiring people for, particularly for small businesses like me, sometimes solo entrepreneurs, and you know exactly what's on our mind, why things go wrong, the kind of people we want to hire. So I want to ask some of those things. If anyone's got to the point where they are thinking like, I can't do this on my own anymore, I need somebody to help, I want to ask you about that kind of stuff. And in fact, I'll start there. If somebody is a really busy freelancer or consultant, somebody, in fact, you know, you yourself getting to that point where you might have to hire somebody, and or the point I'm at where I need to hire somebody, who's the first person that you should hire, or what do people most often come to you for? Is it a PA, or is it a marketing person, or a social media person, or what?
So I find that people, by the time they come to me, it's usually way past the time they should have hired. So that's the first point, just to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Because most people who run their own business do everything in their business, don't we?
Yeah.
I've done it. I now have a team, but I've done it. I've tried to do everything, and I've tried to do everything well. And by the time they get to me, what usually happens is they think, I need another me. I need to split my job into two, and I need another me. That's the first mistake. Or they say, and this is the more observant type of person, is I don't need another me. I know what I'm really good at and what I want to do in the business, and I need to get all of this stuff off my desk. And unfortunately, all that stuff that you want to get off your desk doesn't create a nice, tidy job.
No, I know.
So in a traditional sense, if you just go and recruit someone, that question about, is it a marketer, is it a salesperson, is it an administrator, usually it's a combination of all of them, and that's really hard.
So what's this? Okay, so now we've gone completely up, because we were talking before we start recording about a couple of questions going on, but now I'm so interested, I want to ask you lots of other things.
Okay.
So because I've got this problem, right? Because the person I need to hire right now is a mixture of an online marketer, so somebody who is super comfortable with online systems, can go into Infusionsoft, even if anybody used it before, which is a CRM, and go, okay, I kind of get where this thing's coming from. And, you know, a bit of playing around, they'll suss it. And so I can throw them at 15 different systems like that I use, and they will, you know, one by one, they'll feel the way around it, and they'll not be thrown by it.
Okay. Yes.
Then there is another role, and I think of that as a sort of digital marketing assistant or something like that. There's another role, which is general PA, which is, okay, can you... I don't know, it's a PA. It's more like a customer service person. Can you deal with inquiries about possible courses? Can you talk to people who are on a course and say something nice when they're worried about something? Can you send an encouraging email and just say, I'll get John to get in touch with you? And they all email you, and you set up appointments with me in some sort of meaningful order. So that's more like a kind of PA thing. And then people who, I have, you know, multiple gurus advise me, and one of them says, oh no, you need to hire somebody who's going to lead the project. So I'm building this course called the Love Challenge from scratch. You need somebody who leads that project, who thinks like an entrepreneur, takes a slice of the profits, and you work together, and they basically run it, and they kind of ask you for advice on how to run it, but they own it. They own the project.
But you're just the brand in the face. Yes.
I'm the brand in the face, but they're responsible for sort of project managing it, pushing it through, and finding people who could help, that kind of stuff, and worrying about, is this thing going to hit its targets?
Okay.
Now, but those are completely different roles. I know that, right?
Honestly, it's not unusual for someone like you to say to me, John, I need some systems. I can throw them 15 different systems, and they're comfortable tinkering. Get it? And you're talking about infusion stuff, which is not
that easy.
No, it's not that easy.
No.
And so you've got the systems person. Let's think about that systems brain. What's that person going to have done before, who wants to work remotely but also come and see you from time to time? Yes. And by the way, they also need to be really client focused. The owner says to me, I also need someone that have that entrepreneurial spirit. To me, alarm bells go off, because you're still in that mode of, I still need someone who's a little bit like me. And very often, if you have two entrepreneurs that work together like this, think about all the people you know who've been in partnerships.
I don't think it's quite that. I don't think maybe describing it as an entrepreneur is wrong. It's about, there's a difference between I tell you what to do and you do it. And there's like, I'm going to own this thing. Like you could be a salesperson almost and have targets, right? But you're owning the project.
Do you see what I mean? It's not, well, it is a sales role because it's their responsibility to fill the course. Is that what you're saying?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. So that's still someone who's very sparky, who will have a different personality to you. You're going to have to let something go, basically. Yeah. The real opportunity there is really what you probably need to go from is you and 2 or 3 other people that can do their bits, that can use their expertise, and you're not going to get frustrated with the fact the systems person's emails to a customer who made a payment but hasn't had confirmation isn't quite right.
Okay.
Do you see what I mean?
That makes sense. So to go back to my original question, that's more for everybody. What should people hire first? Is it like, because I heard one guru, Dan Sullivan, he says, you need to hire somebody who just takes the grunt work off you. Is that a good thing? Yeah. That
is a good thing, because let's face it, let's look at both of our days when we feel a bit overwhelmed as an entrepreneur. It is that other stuff that we can do, and we do it, but it's always last on our list, or always goes to the bottom of the list, but it is the grunt work. But it's still the most important. It doesn't matter that
it's invoicing.
Exactly. But so if you don't invoice, you don't have a business, right? If you don't chase the invoice, you don't have a business. And actually, there's an argument that says you shouldn't be doing that bit anyway, because if you look at your value to the business, your value, especially, let's look at you, John, your value is that idea creation. That's what you've built your name around, is looking at ideas and then building it and then showing other people and sharing that, the value of that. You shouldn't be sending an invoice.
No, and you should, I mean, otherwise I'm paying somebody who sends invoices. I mean, and effectively I can earn £500 an hour. It doesn't make a lot of sense to be writing invoices. So getting somebody, and what would you describe that role as? Is that normally a PA or something like that? Or?
So you want to laugh at this, but I've said this a million times. Well, a million times. I've said this very many times when I speak with people just like you that says, I need this. So how are you going to go and find them? How are you going to advertise it? What's the job title? Yeah. So we need to come up with a job title. So I would say VA, because it is, if it is remote, or PA, but in brackets, is where your personality comes through. Alternative job title, everything you need to do to make the CEO or MD's life a lot easier.
I like that. And you'd literally put that in the job advert.
Correct.
That's really good. And I heard somebody describe it as your job, and somebody has to be excited by this description, otherwise they're not a good fit. Your job is to take things off my plate. Yes. And
resolve them. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely right. So everything.
That's really good.
And if they're not excited, because culturally people have job titles, don't we all do. We have a job title, and most people work in larger businesses than 1 or 2, 3 people businesses. Yeah. And so there is a culture internationally, not just in the UK, where, well, if it's not part of my job title, it's not part of my job description, I'm not doing it. Yeah. Everyone that I need to find for people like you and I, because I've done the same in my business, is someone who, I don't care if it's on my job description. It's helping taking the company and the vision forwards. If it helps your customers, John, I will do it. Yeah. And that becomes part of that advert, basically.
That's important. Okay.
The other mistake is waiting too long before you hire that person.
And why is that bad then?
Why is that bad? Because think of the value that you could have brought to your business and to your customers. You've released yourself of all the stuff that you shouldn't be doing 3 months ago. You're not telling me that anyone who's ever come to someone like me and said, Helen, it's time that I found a number 2. You're not telling me they woke up that morning and thought, that's the strategy for today. Or built it into their business plan for 2019.
Of course, people always say, well, how do I get the money? But the issue is, if you can dare to kind of hire somebody and start offloading some of your work, you will quickly free up, acres of space.
Absolutely.
And headspace. It's not just about time, is it? It's about, if I drop out of writing a book or designing a course or some clever marketing thing, in order to do something tedious like add up some sort of invoice thing and work out whether I'll pay somebody, that's broken my, it's not just about it might only take 20 minutes to do that task, but it is so disruptive.
Yeah, really, absolutely. And also it doesn't light you on fire.
Oh God, no.
It excites you. So my job is to help you appreciate where you fit in your business and what you do best and the value you bring to your customers and where you're going to get your revenue from.
Yeah.
And then extrapolate out all the stuff that doesn't excite you, but find someone who loves that.
Yeah, I know.
Loves the fact that they're going to be doing that, knowing that that means you've got more headspace.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. So here's the final question. This is a very revealing one, because I'm trying to be honest during this process of building a new business, which is, you know, I've worked with you before to hire somebody, and I've also done it on my own and worked with other people to hire people. Haven't yet found the right person. What am I doing wrong, Helen? It's not just that I'm you know, being unlucky, is it? That's like the person who says, you know, everyone I go out with is appalling, and it's obviously not me. It's like, well, maybe you're the common factor.
So let's go back to your question. What am I doing wrong? As entrepreneurs, how often do we ask ourselves that?
Yeah.
And if you've had repeated failures, there's a number of reasons why that might be. Either we've tried to put too much on that person, and we've thought, right, we need someone who's basically a triangle, can do each bit, you know, each point of that triangle, but they're always going to be stronger at one than the other two bits, and eventually it falls apart. The other reason it goes wrong is that your expectations and the expectations of the person you brought on board are not in line with each other. And no matter how much you try and test that throughout the process, hiring process, once they're on board, you can't start throwing more stuff at them. You have to let them breathe and fall into the role and find their rhythm. And you've hired them for a reason. So let them do what you've hired them to do before you go, oh, that's good. Sam can do this for me. Oh, actually, I shouldn't be doing this. Sam can. Let them breathe for 6 weeks. Let them bed in and do what they need to do. And then as you start to know, like, and trust each other, then start giving them more and asking them, do you have more capacity in your week? Can I give you some more? Instead of assuming that just because they work for you that they can.
Yeah, right.
Because you and most people like you work at 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
The person you've just hired is not you.
Yeah.
So they need that bit more time. So it's about having that patience and setting expectations properly.
Okay, that's good. Well, thank you, Helen. Let's see how this whole process goes. Maybe we'll do another video.
No pressure.
Throughout, and you know, it might even be interesting to look at just thinking, you know, you just sent me a draft job kind of description. At some point, maybe we'll do a little video about that and talk through it. And if people want to find out about where you are, tell people your website.
Website is really simple. yourpeoplepartners.com.
yourpeoplepartners.com. I like it. Okay, great. Well, thanks very much, Helen.
Brilliant, John. Thank you.
Let's see if we can hire someone brilliant this time.
Oh, no pressure.